Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we're into the 3-3 emotional 6.5 day sequence, and we're heading into day two. All right. So day one was all about caution. Anytime we switch directions in the tide, and now we've got tide coming back in again from that metaphorical sense. Okay. And we got to deal with that jet lag. We got to get used to this current going in the opposite direction. We've got to be cautious because we've got a polarized macro E frequency that just changed out. So it's messing with our emotional rhythms. And in day two, we are going to have a mental flip happen here. All right. So not only are our emotional rhythms being agitated, but now we're going to have the small m mental rhythms at the first person level are going to be agitated. So we've got another 24-hour period here of high alert. Right. So we came into this one, and the 4th of July was eventful. Okay. There were unfortunately a ton of shootings. If you want to check out gunviolencearchive.org website. The 3rd and 4th of July, unfortunately, very eventful and very predictable because of all of these agitating moments. The other thing that's easy to see is what was happening down in the tropics. Hurricane Beryl was supposed to start to slow down and lose intensity, and the exact opposite happened. Now, if you paid attention to yesterday's forecast, we had all kinds of alignments, okay? And when those frequency alignments happen, what's really happening is it's amplifying the effects. And that is exactly what's contributing to the increased weather events, not only that affected the hurricane that's strengthening Beryl again, but just looking at the United States, seeing all the wildfires and all the things that are amplifying, and social tensions, again, are amplifying between countries that are in warring states right now. We've got all kinds of chaos going on, and that's because of this unseen pattern chaos. All right. This is why we're doing this. We're trying to help you understand what this is. And this next 24 hours, high alert. Now, when we hit this peak right here, so at the end of this 24-hour section, I want you to see how we peak up here. All right. And you can see that peak coming right here. There is definitely going to be things going down at the end of this next 24-hour segment. We all need to be doing our best. Why is it so important to do this? Well, we're in a space time reality. And there's only one objective, and the only thing trying to stop us from this objective are these polarity moments. You see, we've got a defensive system of control strapped to our body. These polarity moments agitate our defensive design, and it makes us either want to run away and ignore our problems or stand up and fight for them in ways that make them worse and create more stress for all of us. The more people that do that, the more our environment, the more weather, the more social disruption is going to continue to amplify. We need as many people as possible to understand this unseen pattern of chaos if we want to get to a position here where we can start to get things in a more balanced state. We need to be at our best. We need to be communicating clearly, and we need to make sure that we're not overreacting. If we're doing those things, then we can't do this part down here, which is the actual objective of this space time reality we exist in. Okay. This is just mathematics, people. We are all part and connected to the same mathematical design. And that means we're an interconnected mathematical family. I like to call it a team. Okay. Now, this team has to have a common focus. It's pretty obvious in the world that we don't have many common focuses right now. We've got a bunch of campers, is what I would call this. Video gamers know what I'm talking about. We've got people that are working together and are working against each other, and that's dividing our interconnected family. We need to come together as an interconnected family. We need to be able to talk about and work through our problems with the other teammates that are around us to make sure that we're all staying calm, that we're trying to work together, and that we have a common team goal. That common team goal has to be to balance our routines, both individually and collectively. If we want to get things to calm down, and if you want to have good health and good experience and have them consistently, you have to balance your routines with your family, with your individual, and you also need to be contributing at the national and world perspective equally. Now, if you don't do this as an individual, this is what happens. If you're out of balance and your right lower quadrant's hurting, these are the relationships that are out of balance. If your left lower quadrant has problems, these are the relationships that are out of balance. If your right upper quadrant has problems, these are the relationships that are out of balance. And if your left upper quadrant is having problems, these are the relationships that are out of balance. We are interconnected both with each other as interconnected family or team, but also we are interconnected with the environment. We are creating the reflection in the environment that we are experiencing. And the more people that choose not to work together as this interconnected team and don't want to do the overall objective, the worse this is going to get for all of us, individuals and collective whole. I'm sorry, that's how this works. Our math clearly states this on our website. Please come in. We invite you. And the best part is this: we have created technology to help you with this process. You don't have to suffer anymore. And understanding this design allows you to take a proactive approach. And it doesn't matter if no one else wants to do this with you. The second you decide that you're going to start to balance all your relationships, no matter what, and the second you start to diversify your routine and contribute at all four levels, you are now in alignment with the governing frequencies. And instead of these governing frequencies causing your illnesses, causing your advanced aging, and causing you to have unpleasant experiences, it will be the opposite. Now, will it be hard in the beginning? Absolutely. Everybody is caught up in their own personal opinions and in the design. They're actually designed to have weaknesses. We're designed to cause conflict. That is the design of human nature. Okay? We're unbalanced. Now, that doesn't mean we can't balance. And Health Reconnect is trying to tell you it's not that hard. It just takes willpower, it takes concentration, and it takes dedication. That's what we need. We need people that are dedicated to change and dedicated to balance, dedicated to their family, dedicated to their team, dedicated to this world. That's what we're looking for, and that's what we're trying to empower. And our software makes it as easy as we can possibly make it for you. That's all I'm saying about that. It's that easy. All right. Now, we're going to get zoomed in here and talk about this next 24-hour period that's coming. You can see it right here in the white rectangle. All right. So here it is. It's zoomed in. And we do this because we align these time fields with these peaks. So no matter what time zone you're in, you're going to know when these peaks are. And we do this for people that don't have good internet access all day long. So come down here, find your time zone offset. Once you have your time zone offset, that aligns the peaks. Take a shot of this thing, have it on your phone, and now you know when you got to be a little cautious. Like if you're going to be out in the community, or you've got a busy day at work, or you've got meetings, or you got to be with your family. It's important to know when these polarity moments are happening. I promise you, you start watching this thing and you're going to see every time you have a conflict with anybody, it's going to be at or very close to where these peaks are. It's going to blow your mind. And you're going to realize what you thought you were doing and you were making all these conscious choices. Turns out we were just reacting, getting pulled like strings, like we're puppets. And I don't like to think that. Now, that's the only way that we can predict these weather events. That's the only way we can predict these increase in shootings. That's how we're doing it because we just didn't realize this chaos was actually controlling us. To a certain extent, it is driving the bus. And if you want chaos to take a back seat, then you need to decide to up the ante and decide that you are not going to get upset anymore. When you get upset, you're going to figure out, instead of how to make it worse, how to make it better. And then you're going to have to balance with all the people in your life and start to change your routines, because I promise you, if your tomorrow looks like today, then things are going to get worse. And that's for everybody. I'm not talking about any individuals. This is all of us. It is so obvious that our routines are so heavily favoring individual and family perspectives. That's why we're fighting amongst each other. That's why our nations are falling apart. And that's why our world is not doing so well, including our climate. It's that simple. I can't make it any simpler than that. All right. So, last thing I'm going to say, if you don't have the internet, right, you're going to take these shots. But if you have internet all day long, you go to our website, healthreconnected.com. On our homepage, we have a live feed of the space-time clocks with a time bar that runs through this. You cannot miss it that way. You have access to that 24/7, and that in itself is the biggest advantage we can give you. This takes people caring, and if people don't care about this organized pattern of chaos, then it's going to continue to manipulate them and make their life more unpleasant than it needs to be. All right, let's move on here. We're going to talk about alignments now. Now, there's two alignments today. The first one we're going to talk about here is the ME. This is going to affect the left lower quadrant and left upper quadrant. Now, the small m, 7.5-day frequency. The small e, 3.5-hour frequency. Obviously, people are going to more likely feel this in the lower quadrant. However, The green color, that is for more mature perspectives. That's about leadership within the team and trying to help other teammates. This one's a tough one. So I wouldn't be surprised if both the lower and the upper left is felt during this alignment. Now, it's in the middle, it's not terribly strong, and it's only an hour and a half long, so it's not that long. But again, if you feel something here, this is a hit. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, the only other one on the chart today, is this capital M, capital E. Now, the capital M, that's a year frequency. This is a strong one. And there's only 15 levels on the chart. This is level 14. Now, this is a 9-hour alignment, but I hate to tell you, it's not going to stop after this 9 hours. This alignment goes on for days, okay? So people can really expect if they've been having left lower quadrant problems, it's going to amplify, okay? And the same thing here, this E frequency is pretty darn strong too. So I wouldn't be surprised if both left and right lower quadrants are going to amplify during the course of this alignment. This is also going to amplify weather events. This is going to amplify all kinds of tragedy that are going on right now. Unfortunately, these are very strong. These will be noticeable. No doubt about it. Okay. All right. So that is enough about the alignments. We got some strong stuff coming here, and we've got a whole day load of worrying about polarity moments. Okay. We've got the alignments out of the way. You can see where the polarity moments are anytime it gives above a 4. So I tell you, look at the combined. If it gets above a 4, high alert, this is pretty much all 24 hours. And you can see it's up and down with the third person. And here is where the mental frequency flips. Okay. So the mental frequency is going to flip maybe about 6 hours into this segment, and it's going to hold for at least 24 hours. This is going to challenge many, many people. There is going to be a lot of conflict happening in the first person perspectives. You need to be on your A game here. All right. All right, so let's get down here now. We're going to talk just a little bit about macro position. So in macro position, this is where we've got the 10 strongest frequencies listed where they're going to be for the next 24 hours. Now, there are many more than 10 frequencies that are going to test us. These are the strongest. Now, you can see there are 2, 4, 6 in the bottom, and there are 4 in the top, okay? So much more likely that people are going to be feeling things in the lower quadrants. Now, because the M and the E are up in this upper right quadrant, these are strong frequencies. Right upper quadrant stuff, highly likely this 24 hours too. If I was in practice, this is what you're going to see. Bilateral lower quadrant problems for right quadrant problems. The left side, not so much. We've got a P2 frequency that's going to be in the second 12-hour set. You can see it elevates a little bit. Now, when the testing frequency gets above a 4, okay, that's a lot. You can see left upper quadrant's below a 4 the entire time. However, right upper quadrant, especially in the second 12 hours, this really elevates, and I would expect that people are going to feel that. And both left lower and right lower quadrants are ripping this next 24 hours. And this alignment right here, this one's going to be felt. A lot of people are going to be experiencing this. The last time we had this, I was at watching a football game. My son was in, and I was looking at the crowd, and I was just looking at all the people that were there, and it didn't matter who I looked at. It didn't matter if they were old, middle-aged, or young. Everybody was tight, and you could see a noticeable gait influence, meaning they limped a little bit. Gait's just a fancy word for there was something wrong with the way they were moving. They had a gait imbalance, all right? It is going to be a lot of people experiencing a gait imbalance during this alignment. It's going to tighten the side up. The musculoskeletal system is going to be affected. The digestive system is going to be affected. You name it. Everything in those quadrants, if you're out of balance, and unfortunately, when you look at our world right now, there's a lot of imbalance. So a lot of people are going to experience that one. All right. That's it. That's the forecast for this next 24 hours. Lots of electromagnetics, lots of strong testing frequency coming on here, and then we're going to end as always. We already have the rest of this year posted. You already know when weather events are going to come. You're going to know when social unrest is going to rise. There is no mystery. The only thing that's going to stop us from making this better is if we don't have people care and invest in this strategy. If you're not willing to keep yourself from being manipulated, and being driven into stress and conflict, which accelerates your aging and advances your disease and guarantees that your life is going to get less and less pleasant. I don't know how else to motivate people. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to do that. And just seeing what's happening in the world and understanding the power we have by using our conscious choice. Let's do this, people. It's time. All right. That's it. So, summer season, fall season, We still have our electromagnetic confirmation video stuff going on here. And if you want us to do an event for you, by all means, come down here, fill this thing in. Love to do that for you. All right. We had another kind of long one today, but this is going to be eventful. And I hate to say this too, we're ending on this. This is only getting stronger. We're to the point here, summer into fall. This is going to continue to ramp up. That's just how this is looking. And if you don't believe me, you can come down here and you can confirm this for yourself. All right. All right, let's talk here again in about 24 hours, and we look forward to that. We'll see you then.